It's Playing Off the City, your sports news every Friday. Welcome back here to Playing Out the City. Thanks for tuning in on this second to last Friday of November. It's your host Bakari, and today we have a very special episode for you guys.
And I'm Jacob, and today we'll be covering your biggest stories from the NFL, college football, and soccer, along with a huge NBA special at the end. We're going to be talking the draft. We're going to be talking Pistons. We're going to be talking free agency. We got it all for you today.
Yeah, make sure to stick around, and you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Playing Off the City. Going to our first topic, we got the Lions that are 4-5 right now, going up against the Carolina Panthers, who are 3-7 on Sunday, in a big matchup for us.
Yeah, definitely, I'd agree. The Lions they're 2-2 in their last 4 games, and they dropped a huge one against the Colts. I'm pretty sure they got 20 balled.
Yeah.
It wasn't a very pretty game, but they picked up their last game against the Washington football game. We had that clutch field goal from Prater at the end.
I'm just messing with you. Football team, yeah, definitely.
My mistake.
Nah, you're good, man. But yeah, we dropped that game. It was a crucial game to the Colts a few weeks ago. But at least we were able to bounce back with a win last week against the Washington football team. Even though, that was not a pretty game.
No, it wasn't very... we shouldn't have been that close with that team. The NFC East, the Washington football teams are part of that division, so they're not one of the strongest teams in the league, so definitely we should have won that game by more, but hey...
I mean, they don't even have a name, and we couldn't beat them.
They don't even have a mascot. Like, come on. We got to win by more than 3.
We choked a 20-point lead in the fourth quarter. Quarter. Like, what's going on?
That's been a common theme. I mean, you saw it from the very first game against the Bears that we had that huge lead. And then you got Mitchell Trubisky trotting down and scoring 20 points in the fourth quarter. Like, you just can't let that happen. Mitchell Trubisky, who ends up getting replaced by Nick Foles. So it kind of shows we're not really clutch performers, the Lions. So it hasn't been the greatest season.
Out of here.
Yeah, I don't know how much longer his future will be in Detroit.
Yeah, I don't know. We're going through a lot of things right now. I just hope that I really don't think we can make the playoffs, not with this defense, unless a magic switch flips and we start playing lights out defense for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree. And so right now, being at 4-5, we're in that weird middle ground where we're not good enough to be a playoff team, but we're still just good enough where we're not going to get a good pick in the draft. So it's kind of unfortunate. Yeah, we're in the in-between. So I don't know. I think at some point we got to seriously consider tanking to try and rebuild. But as of right now, we just got to... Our only hope is trying to win out to make it to the playoffs, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see the Lions. We don't make it often.
Yeah, for real. But I mean, when was the last time we made it? 2018 or something?
I'm pretty sure we played the Seahawks, right?
Yeah, and we lost
at the end of the game. There was a Tyler Lockett touchdown.
Yeah, we lost 26-7. I don't know. Someone correct me, but that was a really poor game by us. But again, just making the playoffs was the Super Bowl to me. So.
Yeah. So we'll see what the Lions have in store. But speaking of teams that are better than the Lions, we're gonna be
basically everyone.
We got a matchup: the Chiefs in 8-1 against the Raiders at 6-3.
That's a huge game.
What do you think's gonna happen in this game, Bakari?
First of all, it's on Sunday Night Football. That's my favorite time to watch football.
Yes, sir.
I tune in. But I think the Chiefs gotta get the revenge here. They only have one loss on the record, and it is to the Raiders. So I think they gotta avenge that loss and come out here and beat the Raiders and just flat out beat them. Leave no more discussion in people's minds, because I think the last time it was 40-32. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a close game, but The Chiefs, they're on a roll. Honestly, they've been playing really good. So
When have they not though? These last few years.
yeah, these last few years they've really been hitting all their marks. But Travis Kelsey,
Pat Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, they just had that addition, right? Le'Veon Bell.
Yep.
So he's been helping their run game. Clyde Hill kind of slowed down earlier in the season. We looked at him as like a really good rookie, but he's kind of like slowed his pace down. But
Yeah,
it
but it's
happens.
kind of like with all rookies, you know. They'll
Yeah,
start off
sometimes.
hot, but sometimes they'll go a little bit down. But it doesn't mean you take them away from like the conversation. He still hopefully has a long career ahead of him. So we'll see in time what he can consistently bring to the Chiefs.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't think his career is far from over, but it's not uncommon for rookies to be inconsistent. They're young and they're still learning, so he'll be better in the next few years. But yeah, I think the Chiefs are gonna come out on top in this game. What do you think?
I agree. I think the Chiefs are gonna win this game. I think that. I mean, it's not a must win, but when you're the Chiefs, I think they're just treating every game like it is, even if they're 15-0. Or
Yeah, 8-1. Like it's not really a must-win game for them, but I know what you're saying. Like they kind of need to win this game because this is the team they lost to, so
yeah,
it'd be a big morale boost. So
not like the
hopefully,
morale isn't high enough already, but
yeah, hopefully they can come out on top. But the Raiders have kind of surprised me, honestly. Uh, I don't really follow them too closely, but in the past few years they haven't been the greatest. With Derek Carr struggling at quarterback, but it seems like whatever John Gruden's doing over there, he's kind of turning it around.
yeah, definitely he's slowly but surely he's doing the right things, and I mean they're looking if they if they continue on this streak, or if they just keep patching wins here and there, they're gonna make the playoffs. So you can't complain if you're the Raiders.
Yeah, if you're a fan, you love to see it.
Right, what I'm saying.
Exactly. Alrighty. So, our final NFL topic, we're gonna switch over to the NFC West, a very good conference in the NFL. There was a matchup on Thursday night. The Seahawks ended up beating the Cardinals, and it just showcased how good that conference is.
That was
You
a good
have
game. That was a good game.
Yeah, for real. You got the Seahawks, the Cardinals, and the Rams, and they're all tough teams, so it's kind of a toss-up over there.
Oh yeah, for sure. All these teams are a bunch of dogs. Um, it was a good game. I'm pretty sure it went down to the wire. It came down to a last-minute sack by one of the Seahawks defenders. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I had seen that, and that's what clutched up the game. Like it required a last-minute 4th and 10 play to uh, um, to salvage this game for the Seahawks. So that conference isn't easy for anybody. So if you make it out of there on the top, you're a dog. Like you're a good team.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I'd agree. And that conference has good quarterbacks. So, speaking of their quarterbacks, what do you think about Kyler Murray? Second year player.
I think he's proven his haters wrong. I mean, rookie year, people were kind of talking a little bad on him, to be honest. Like, ever since
Yeah.
he decided to switch from baseball to football, a lot of people were kind of getting on his head about, why would you do that? A lot of people were, like, saying, baseball's a safer option and everything. And, he kind of defied all of that, and he was like, nah, I'm going to go play in the NFL. Goes there, and his first season maybe wasn't his best season, but this year he's playing great. I mean, they got him a little more help, and I mean they're contesting with some of the better teams in the NFL. So like, what can you complain about?
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I still don't know how well they do in the playoffs if they make it. I think they're more of like a regular season team, but he's definitely proved to his doubters that he can play football. Everyone was kind of saying, "Oh, he's undersized," which he still is, but he seems to make it work. Take advantage of his speed, and his throws are always on target. So
Yeah, so it's like, he's a wonderful player. Wonderful player.
yeah, no, he's
Excited to
fun to
see what he'll
watch
do.
too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a great matchup, and I think that just about covers our football for the week. After the break, we're going to talk some college football, so stay with us.
Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP.
Welcome back from the break. Right now, we're talking college football. We're going to start off in the Big Ten, and we're probably going to stay here for the whole segment, but we're going to start with Michigan. We're going to start with Michigan taking on Rutgers. Both teams are 1-3 in what I call the Battle of the Scrubs. So, what's your thoughts, Vicari?
Shoot. You're right. That's a good name. I like the Battle of the Scrubs. Both teams are having a pretty subpar season, to say the least. I mean, one you kind of expect it from more than the other. Mm-hmm. I don't know much about Rutgers, but Michigan, like, bro, 1-3. Like, what are they doing? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of been a very disappointing season for them, and not a lot of things have went their way, but it'll be interesting. I mean, Rutgers, their one and only win came against Michigan State, and Michigan State beat Michigan. So I think this is a very exciting game, at least to see who comes out on top.
Yeah, Michigan has been shaky and definitely disappointing, to say the least. It's crazy that
it had been utter garbage.
That you would ever think about saying that it's an exciting game against Rutgers. Like,
yeah,
usually it's just a blowout, but
I know.
It seems like this season, programs have their down years. Usually if you're a powerhouse like Ohio State, Clemson, LSU, Alabama, those schools don't have down seasons.
They always got recruits coming in, so.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, Michigan has a lot of good 4- and 5-star players, so I don't think it's a lack of talent. I'd agree that those other schools have good talent, like steady talent coming in, but Michigan kind of seems to underperform some years. But it happens, so it just makes you think about what Harbaugh's future is. What do you think? How long do you think his situation will last over at Michigan?
Honestly, I could see this potentially being his last season. I don't know exactly what's going on in the head of like the people up at Michigan, but they've taken some very embarrassing losses. They've played some really bad games, and looking at their schedule, I haven't looked at it exactly, but they're not gonna beat like some schools that they're gonna play. Like they're not gonna beat they're not gonna beat Ohio State. They're not gonna beat like some of those guys, which means you're already kind of adding some. I mean, they might, but I doubt it.
No, I know what you're saying.
I don't know how much longer, like the people at the head of the management are gonna be like, yeah, let's keep this guy. Like maybe they'll try and move in a new direction.
I'd agree.
But I don't think Tom's on his side.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna have to. It's gonna be up in the air this offseason. But the only issue is who's gonna replace him. So I think it depends on if they get a good candidate. Then I think they'll look to replace him. If not, I think they're kind of gonna like try and light a fire under him and try to like motivate him to do better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm just taking a look at their schedule right now, and it doesn't really get easier. They got Rutgers, which is Then they have Penn State. I don't know how Penn State's doing this year, but
they're not that great, but still probably better than us.
In previous years, Penn State was a really good team. Penn State was number 5 like a year or two ago in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were just outside of the playoffs, and then they play Maryland, a trip to Maryland, and then Ohio State as their last game. So I don't know.
Ohio State will not be pretty.
Yeah, that's not a good close to the season. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting to me is I forget where I was, but I think I was either reading an article or I was watching like local news, and I saw a quote from Jim Harbaugh, and it says Michigan football should not be embarrassed. What do you think about that, man? Like I know, I know as the coach you kind of gotta defend your team, but at some point you kind of gotta own up to the crappy season
That
you're
sounds
having.
backwards. That sounds backwards. I mean, they shouldn't be embarrassed. Come on, bro. Who wouldn't be
Yeah.
embarrassed about being 1-3?
Yeah,
Like, especially when you're Michigan, when you had expectations of doing something this year. Well, they should be very embarrassed. Like, I don't even know what to like. I don't know. I know as a coach, like you said, you gotta back your guys. You gotta motivate them to keep fighting. But sometimes you gotta like be realistic, and this is a little far fetched to me.
yeah, I don't think. I mean, I get positive mindset, but at some point you gotta be honest. But it's all about trying to make your team look good. But he seems to be optimistic towards the rest of the season. I don't think he thinks we're gonna be much more successful, but there's gonna be good work put in. So hopefully that'll build a stronger foundation for the future. That's the only positive I could really take.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only positive you really can take, as a Michigan fan, because
Exactly.
there's not much left to be earned from this season. Even if you win out the rest of your games, you're not making it to like a top 20, top 10 spot. I
Yeah,
don't know.
just gotta take your bumps and move on.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that this season's shorter than all the other seasons we've had before.
But sticking with the Big Ten in the mitten, we got MSU at 1-3 hosting Northwestern, who is 4-0 on Saturday in another Big Ten
That's
matchup.
next Saturday.
Oh, next Saturday. My
Yeah.
apologies.
Michigan State actually had their game canceled for this weekend against Maryland because there was a lot of their numbers were spiking up in their school. So yeah, so they had to cancel their game for this week. I don't know if it's gonna get rescheduled. It might just be plain out canceled. But
Yeah, it's hard to reschedule games now, but
yeah,
who knows?
and there's really not even a point. Shoot, where are both teams going? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. They get an extra week to prepare, even though they didn't really expect to have this week.
Yeah.
They're going up against a very good Northwestern side, so it'll be interesting to see, what happens there. Northwestern's a good team. I don't know. What do
Yeah.
you think? What are you thinking?
I think Northwestern will definitely beat them. I think this
how
year.
much is the question?
By how much? I don't know. Like Northwestern's solid, but I don't know how much I buy in to their success. I think it has been like a lack of a strength of schedule as of so far, but they could prove me wrong. One thing I was gonna say is that for this year, I think Michigan State kind of has to like new coaching. They got a whole new situation, so they kind of got to take it as like a transition year. So as much as it was nice, they had their fun beating Michigan.
Yeah,
It's
but
reality kind of set back in that new head coach, so you're gonna have those issues.
yeah, I mean, in a way though, if you look at it, I think Michigan State, as of right now, is in a little bit better of a position than Michigan when you kind of break it down. Just because like you didn't like come into the season. I mean, I at least think most Michigan State fans didn't expect too much. New coach didn't get his recruits in time. He's just kind of getting the players used to his system. It's just like everything's just new. But on the contrary, Michigan, they've had Coach Harbaugh for like 5-6 years now, I think.
Yeah,
Like,
he's definitely established there. He's been
he's
there a while.
established. So there's no excuse for Michigan. But
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like it's not looking well for Michigan, but like you said, Mel Tucker didn't get all his recruits, and they're just building the foundation for now. So
Yeah, they're just looking to the future, in my opinion. They're
yeah, so
yeah.
there's really nothing you can knock them on the season. You know, it hasn't been the most successful, but they'll build onto it in the future.
Oh yeah, definitely. And time will tell if Mel Tucker's plan is truly a success story or not.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see, like in the movies, huh?
Yeah.
All right, for our final topic of college football, we have a huge matchup: the number 9 Indiana Hoosiers taking on the number 3 Ohio State Buckeyes. What are your thoughts on this game? Who do you think's gonna win?
I think it's gonna be Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a good game. I don't know. Indiana's a good team. You know, sometimes you look at it and you're just like, you know, like I don't want like, especially when you look at games like this, numbers don't really come in to the equation. Like number 3 versus number 9. Like sure that looks good, but like, you know, you can also be like top 15 or something. But like it all comes down to like how good your schedule is, and I don't know. This is a tough game for Indiana. Like, even though Indiana is number 9 and they are an excellent team this season, I think it's going to be a very difficult challenge for them. So we'll see if they can mount something up and muster something up to come and beat Ohio State.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I think I agree with you that Ohio State's gonna win. This is another team that so far has not had the strongest schedule in the Big Ten. They've played Michigan, who has underperformed, Michigan State with their new head coach. I'm pretty sure they played Rutgers and Penn State, who's underperformed. So, I mean, you can't credit them or discredit them for their wins. You know, a win's a win. But I don't think their record totally tells the story. They haven't had the strongest schedule as of yet.
Yeah, and you know, like you said, man, this is gonna be a good game. I'm truly interested to see who comes out on top in this game and what happens.
Yeah, I don't know. Ohio State's usually the favorite. They're a powerhouse over there. They're just always got those athletes and those good recruits. So they'll probably come out on top, but I'd love to see an upset, especially a Michigan fan. You know, we don't like those Buckeyes.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just have to tune in. It's on at 12 tomorrow. So yeah.
Yeah, it'll be definitely gonna be interesting to watch.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thanks. Thank you for tuning into this segment. We'll be right back for our soccer segment.
If doctors told us that we'd made a breakthrough on COVID-19, we would rejoice. We'd feel hope that we could live our lives again, get back to work, back to doing what we want. Well, masks are a ticket to that freedom. We can help protect others and save lives by covering our noses and mouths, which is how the virus mainly spreads. Until there's a vaccine, grab the breakthrough that's already here. When we're out, it's masks on. A message to help keep you safe.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Welcome back here on Playing Off the City. Now we have soccer. You know, club soccer's coming back this weekend. It start kicking off today actually. There's actually quite a few big games coming off the international break. It's interesting, you know. I think we were talking about this on the last show, you know, about the intensity of the players' schedules, and here it is being shown again. You know, most of these guys, they're just like, let's take South Americans for example. Excuse me. They just had a game last weekend. No, not last weekend, but like earlier this week, like Monday, Tuesday range, and all of a sudden now you're talking about they have like what, a 12-hour trip all the way back to Europe to play in some big games this week that, you know, could be not early title deciders, you know what I mean? Like almost every league is pretty close, but these are kind of the games, like, you know, you got to play your best in, but it's hard to play your best when, you know, you're mentally and physically tired. But
Yeah, I think, like you said, that they got that, they're just worn out from playing all these games. You just got off an international break, and right now they're straight on jumping into club soccer, like you said. So it seems like I think they should give their athletes more of a break, but with COVID, I think they're kind of just trying to fit as much as they can in.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, we have a pretty big game tomorrow at 12:30, just in time for your lunch. So pick up some lunch and come watch. Tottenham versus Manchester City, huge game.
Ooh.
Tottenham's playing pretty good this year. You know, I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, so, you don't really hear much about Tottenham and how they're performing. But all of a sudden, you just look at the Premier League table and boom, they're number 2 right now. Like, they're definitely not having a bad season. Um, Along with Man City, Man City is playing subpar, but again, luckily, they're with the fact that they have a match in hand and everything. If they win their match in hand, they'll only be 3 points off of first place. So you can't even like this
Count
season's
them out,
very
yeah.
interesting. Everybody is very close within like reaching distance. I mean, you look at the table, Arsenal are in 11th place, but they're only about a game or two off of first place. So it's definitely interesting. Leicester are currently first in the Prem, but Leicester are a great team. They they've showed time and time again with good managers that they can perform with some of the bigger teams in the league. Sure, they've had their down years, but I don't think anybody will ever, just going back a little bit, will ever forget that historic 2016 run. I think that was probably one of the best runs in sports history. People were calling them to get relegated, and all of a sudden, they come out and win the Premier League. Like, not any league, the Premier League. I think that's one of the hardest leagues to win when you're a professional football player. So it's definitely
Yeah,
it's gonna be a good game.
it's nice when the leagues are like that, when it's closely contested. You don't really want to see a bunch of crappy teams. Like you said, the 11th place Arsenal is only a couple games away from the top seed. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, everybody's playing very well this year. My favorite team, Crystal Palace. Shout out to them. They're in 8th place, but they got 13 points, so they're only about 5 games off the pace from being the top of the table. So
Yeah.
excited. I'm excited to see what Tottenham versus Man City brings to the table. I think that breaking it down, I think it's gonna be a draw. I think it's going to be 1-1. That's my
Pretty evenly
prediction.
matched.
Yeah, I think it's gonna.
Who do
be
you
a
think
pretty-
scores?
Oh, nah. You can't ask me that. Nah. I cannot tell you that.
De Bruyne? De Bruyne?
Honestly, De Bruyne, he's a great player.
De
I don't
Bruyne.
know. It'll be interesting. I could see him scoring. Obviously, he's
Yeah.
that type of player. He can score, in any big game. So we'll see.
If you had to say, what are some players that you would look out for? Like, say
In this game,
you don't know much about soccer, just like overall, like Premier League, anyone like that you watch that makes you enjoy watching soccer.
in the Prem,
That
Uh,
yeah, sure. Anyone like for new soccer fans, like who should they watch for?
they should watch for Kevin De Bruyne. In my opinion, that's probably the best midfielder in the world.
Man City.
Yeah, plays for Man City. Probably, arguably, the best midfielder in the world. Harry Kane, striker for Tottenham. I think one of the leading scorers in the Prem this season. A very good player, clinical finisher.
Who's
Virgil
been on
van Dijk.
England's
Yeah,
what's
the
it called?
international team.
their international team?
Yeah, Virgil van Dijk. When he comes back from injury, because I think he tore his ACL last month. So when he comes
Yeah.
back from injury, he's probably the best defender in the world right now.
Oh yeah, he's a big, strong athlete.
He's like, and it's kind of crazy. Just slightly off topic from your question. When you think about it, like, people in soccer consider him like this huge beast, but when you look at him, he's only 6'4", and that's kind of
Yeah.
small in the NBA. Just saying.
Yeah. Like when you're cross comparing sports, the NBA is huge, but yeah, go ahead with your with
Yeah,
your players.
Like, he's just a monster. An underrated player that I think that doesn't get enough praise is Wilfred Zaha for Crystal Palace. Just gonna throw my boy in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a magnificent player. He doesn't necessarily get maybe the same amount of respect because he doesn't play for, I guess you could say, he doesn't play for as good of a side as
Yeah.
some of the other guys do. But if you
No,
watch him
for
in
sure.
their games, he definitely has a lot to bring to the table. So
What position is he at? Striker?
he can play. He
Or no?
can play a bunch of positions in the attack. Sometimes he
Okay.
plays striker. Sometimes he
Cam.
plays on the left wing. Sometimes he'll play like a little bit of a number 10 role or number 9, like he plays center forward, a little like behind the striker. So
Yeah.
he can play kind of anywhere in the attack. And especially now that they have had a few new signings, Crystal Palace, he kind of like rotates with some of the other guys in the attack, and it creates more like creativity in the attack, and they're able to score more goals going forward.
Yeah, it allows for a versatile attack, so like you never know what's coming. I mean, you know he's out there, but you don't know where he's gonna be at.
Yeah, so definitely, I think that I guess I actually kind of like that idea, just giving a few players for people to watch out. So next week, we can do this every week. I could give a few players for people to watch out for, and I guess those are the 3 you guys should tune into.
All right,
And
you heard it here.
Yeah, just a new thing we created. And then on our last topic about soccer, the Champions League is back this Tuesday. It was off for a few weeks because of the international break, but it is now back. I'm really excited for it to be back. I think we're going to have it for the next 3 weeks again, so that we know the teams that are going into the knockout stages. So, yeah, make sure to tune into that this Tuesday and watch. Make sure you watch and tune in.
Yeah, I think that about does it for our soccer segment. Big shout out to Bakari. He definitely carries this portion of the show. He's got more soccer knowledge, but so yeah, if you're tuning in for the soccer, Bakari's your guy.
Yeah, and just if you have any questions, hit us up at Playing Off the City. And now we're
on
gonna go
Instagram and
into transition into our NBA special. It's a rare occasion, but we're doing a little extra bit of the show to just talk about the NBA draft, NBA free agency that begins tonight. So make sure you tune in after the break and stay with us.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
To buy your home, you became a house hunting ace. Learned about loans, scoured neighborhoods, and asked the right questions. Now you're queen of your castle. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll feel empowered to own your retirement like you own your home. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to clearing financial hurdles, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back from the break, and here we are with our big NBA special, which
Yes,
you all were
sir.
waiting for.
Hope you guys are
All right.
excited.
So we're gonna start off locally with our Detroit Pistons. They made a lot of moves on draft night.
I think
If
they
you
were
did
the most
not
active
tune in,
team.
definitely the most active on the trades. New GM Troy Weaver definitely proved that he's aggressive. He's not taking any chances. So what we saw is the Pistons started with the 7th pick, and then after that we got the 16th pick,
The
who ended up
19th pick
the 19th pick,
and the 38th pick.
38th pick.
Yep.
So we made a few trades to acquire a few assets. So what do you think about the Pistons move to trade some of our average players to get younger? Like, what's your thoughts?
I like it. I think that Troy Weaver, he's had his history of being a great GM, so
Yeah,
with
who did
drafting.
he draft? He was in OKC, right?
Yeah, he drafted a lot of players at OKC.
I think he drafted, or no, he helped draft like Harden and
Yeah, all of those
Westbrook and them.
guys. So that's why we brought him over.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, and that's probably one of the main reasons why we brought him over here to Detroit, so that we can have that youth movement going on here in Detroit, and for a first time, he did a great job, in my opinion. I think that sure we sort of paid the price by trading some of our people that a lot of Detroit Pistons fans considered like our core, like essential. But
Yeah, like Kennard.
yeah, like Luke Kennard. We traded Bruce Brown like last night, I think. So we traded some of those guys, but I think getting younger is probably what the best option was for us. Like Luke Kennard's a great player, but he kind of has his times where he's injured, and I think he was a great player, but
And his contract was going to be up at the end of the year, so we
so
were
it's
going to
better
have to
get
pay
something.
him.
Because I don't know if he would have stayed. So
Yeah, either that or we'd have to pay him a little more than we probably wanted to. If you
yeah,
think about
so
it. But yeah, it's definitely like it felt a little uncomfortable to see some of those guys go. Being a fan of the Pistons, always watch them. You just they're your boys. You like seeing Luke Kennard and Bruce Brown, so it was kind of weird to see them go. But I think it was for the better. Back in like 2013. The Sixers started the whole trust the process
yeah, Joel Embiid.
campaign. Yeah, with Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons. I'm pretty sure they drafted Jahlil Okafor, but that didn't go anywhere really.
Yeah, spending his days with the Pelicans, I believe nowadays.
What you see is these teams nowadays, which is it took the Pistons long enough, man.
Yeah, it took
you
them a
need
long
to
time.
get young and tank in order to win, because there's no way you're gonna be able to be like mediocre and compete and just magically like just snap and kind of like get to a finals contender, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. And I'm glad, though it did take a while, like you said, I'm glad that finally, after all these years, the
Came to their
Pistons
senses.
they decided, all right, well, now we got to rebuild. And now they're taking the necessary moves to truly show that we're in a rebuild. And having all these young guys coming over to Detroit and showing, we mean business now, like with this youth movement. Like I think we'll be good. We're not drafting maybe the biggest name guys, but I don't think that's ever been Detroit. Like we're drafting a bunch of guys that go together well, that gel together, that are gonna come together, and like they're gonna be physical, and they're gonna make every team fight for every ball, and we're gonna play as a team, and that'll definitely take us a long way in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. With the Pistons, I think like in the past we haven't had the most successful drafts. And looking at our players just on talent wise, they might not be like the ones we drafted might not be the most talented in the draft. But with Dwayne Casey's system, he wants people who are gonna defend like they do in Toronto or like they did. And he's gonna want people who will play team ball. So I do like the players that Troy Weaver picked, and I think he picked them like specifically for Dwayne Casey, as to build the culture.
Yeah,
You know
that's what I was thinking too. I
So,
was
yeah.
thinking that's exactly what would happen.
So our first major pick, we were up to number 7. What was your thoughts on Killian Hayes, the lefty point guard out of France?
Yeah, that's my boy. I'm French personally, so I'm digging every French player we get. Call us the French
Sekou.
Pistons. Yeah, we got Sekou, we got Killian. Like they finna have that chemistry. They're gonna be the French killers. So I'm excited for what they're about to bring. I think it's gonna be really fun to see them play together this upcoming season and in the future.
Yeah, not a lot of people. Some people I heard weren't so like thrilled about getting Killian, but I don't think they realize how good of a player he is. From all the scouts, from all his former coaches, they say he's just a great player. They say he has great court sense. They say he's a smooth scorer, a good point guard, and that's what we need. We need someone to facilitate the offense. So hopefully he's all that they talk about, and I think he'll prove the haters wrong. That's who I want the Pistons to select personally.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what you thought. You wanted more Tyrese Halliburton, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But I'm not complaining with Killian Hayes. That's a French dude, so I think a lot of people like to sleep on Europeans. So
Yeah.
just because they there's not like a lot about them. There's not a lot of clips, but I think something people fail to acknowledge is some of these dudes, like some of these young guys, like they're playing up against people double their age. Like they're playing not NBA level type of
Grown
dudes,
men.
but people, but like grown
Still
dudes
grown men.
that like have muscle and they're gonna make you grind for every ball, especially in Europe. Like
Yeah.
ooh, nah, those dudes don't play.
No, definitely. The European basketball players don't always get the respect they deserve. Most people perceive college basketball as the better route to the NBA, but a lot of solid players have came from Europe. So hopefully Killian Hayes will just add to that list. Some people say he has kind of like a D-Lo game, and he's obviously a great point guard.
Yeah, it took him a few years, but look at him now. He's an all-star, so it's good. It's pretty interesting to see him play. And again, time will tell how all this plays out for the Detroit Pistons. We actually drafted 2 guards, because with the 38th pick, we drafted Saben Lee from Vanderbilt, I believe. The Jazz picked him for us, and he's gonna get traded once all the waivers and stuff are cleared up. So, it's gonna be interesting. We got a lot of good players in this draft. 4 young dudes, and when you think back to what we were talking about, like before the draft, they were talking about like what am I trying to say? They were thinking about like how this draft was very stacked, and like how they had like their eyes on a lot of guys, and I mean they did exactly just that.
I know what you're saying. How like they had all that, like before the draft, all their options were open. They didn't really have like a clear front runner for who their pick was going to be, if they were even going to pick that pick or like stay at that pick.
Exactly. And now you look at them, and they got four picks in the draft, 4 young dudes, and I think they got Jalen Hands as well, or something like that. I think that's a young dude out of college.
No, I'm pretty sure we didn't. For the Pistons?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, bro.
Unless we got him in the second round.
No, I think we got him like after the draft, like free agent.
Not
free agent, but like
undrafted.
undrafted.
Yeah.
Or something like that. That's what I meant.
Yeah. But as for our 4 picks, if you're unaware, it went 7 was Killian Hayes, 16 was Isaiah Stewart out of Washington. He's a center.
Yup.
He was pretty good. He had a good game against Arizona last year. 19 was Sadiq Bey. Yeah. Out of Villanova, a good wing who can defend and get out and run. He's a little older, but he's still a rookie. And then 38, we capped it off with
Saben Lee.
Saben Lee, yes, the point guard.
Yep.
So yeah, we had a very busy draft night. It was a lot of like
every time I was looking at my phone, Woj was tweeting, Pistons did this, Pistons. I was like, dang, like we still, we still have like that much space to do stuff, like, and we're not stopping. Like we were doing some more trades yesterday.
I know. I thought as well. After we made so many trades, we got Trevor Ariza. I was like, I couldn't keep track of all of it, but
exactly.
It seems like Troy Weaver has a good plan in mind. So I think we're in good hands.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
All right, and so right now we're gonna take a little break. After we come back from commercial, we're gonna talk about the draft overall, rather from just like what the Pistons did. So some of our favorite players, and yeah.
I think it's just vapor.
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as 1 pack of cigarettes. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Welcome back from the break. Right now on our NBA special, we're sticking with the draft. We're just going to do an overall summary of the draft, talk about some of our favorite players that got drafted, and some big moves of the night. So I think first thing we should go over is the top 3 picks, most important in the draft. So what do you think about number 1, the Timberwolves drafting Anthony Edwards?
I think he's a great pick. He did a really good job at Georgia, and a lot of people were contemplating what the Timberwolves were going to do with that draft because they were exploring all options until the very last second. Like if you watch the draft, the 5-minute clock went until 0:00 before their pick was in. So
yeah,
I think they examined every option, and I think that after evaluation, they picked the best guy. I mean, that's the only thing you can do. If you're not sure what you're going to do and no trade comes in that you like, you just pick the best guy on the board. Like, you had the number 1 pick, so just do that.
Yeah, I think he was probably the best choice. There's a lot of talented players out there. It was kind of a surprise not to see LaMelo go when I heard he was going to go high, but it seems like Anthony
he still went high.
Edwards
Number 3's not bad.
3. But so Anthony Edwards was their guy, but yeah, I think before they were reviewing all their options on who they might want to trade with, but they probably weren't blown away by any trade, so it was the smart move to just take the best available player because you don't want to sell low, just give that pick up for something you don't really want, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because those type of picks only come like once in a lifetime, so.
Yeah.
I mean, not once in a lifetime, but you know what I mean, like.
Yeah, as a GM, you don't always get to draft first, so I think they made the right pick.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I agree with you with that. Same thing with the Warriors, who had the number 2 pick. Just speaking of the Warriors on the off topic, hopefully Klay Thompson, speedy recovery to him. Heard he tore his Achilles out for the season.
That's horrible.
2 seasons in a row.
Unfortunate. He just had, that ACL last year and now an Achilles. You can't get much worse than that, so hopefully he bounce back soon.
Yeah, but he was one of my favorite players, man, like in his prime.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't think when he comes back, like being realistic, he's going to be nowhere near the same version as he was, before his injuries.
He did have a really smooth game, but yeah. It's sad to see someone with that star power get hurt,
Yeah, he's a great player, and you just hate to see it, man. Hate to see it.
Yeah. All right, well, sticking on topic, we're going to talk about the Warriors, like you said. At number 2, they drafted James Wiseman, who, if you don't know, he was the Memphis big man, and he got suspended or something for the whole season, or part of the season, because of allegations of receiving money or just kind of like unfair recruiting from his coach, Penny Hardaway. But looking at the pick, I think it was a decent pick. I'm kind of honestly surprised that they didn't do anything with it. I thought their intention was to package it and kind of get another superstar.
That's what I thought they were going to do.
It seems like James Wiseman's their guy. It kind of fits, though. They do need a big fella, so maybe that's who they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, the Warriors have always been, like, even in their prime, I think the one thing they've been missing is a really good center.
Oh, yeah.
I think this will definitely add something to their team, especially now with now that they won't be getting Klay Thompson for another season. I think having him is going to be a good thing, getting James Wiseman in, and they traded for Kelly Oubre last night, so...
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out because, I mean, before Klay Thompson got hurt, they were one of my early picks to make it to the finals. They were going to be tough, but who knows now because without your second best player, it's kind of going to be tough. But I think they'll still be good, and I think James Wiseman will be a good center for them.
For sure. Just Tom Wassell again with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then next, with the number 3 pick, the Hornets drafted LaMelo Ball. And just to point out, I think LeVar Ball and MJ finna get that 1v1.
The 1v1. I'm taking LeVar, man. He's undefeated.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think averaging those 2 points in college.
Never lost.
Yeah, I think he's definitely gonna beat MJ. But.
Yeah. But his son LaMelo, the youngest of the 3 Ball brothers, rather than taking the college path, LaMelo went first to Lithuania.
Yep.
And then where did he end up? NBL?
Yeah, something like that.
So yeah, he played overseas.
Then didn't he form like his little super team over here? Some of his boys.
Yeah, there's a weird phase where he was playing with the JBL, the Junior Baller League.
Yeah.
It's hard. They're like a reality show, man. It's hard to keep track of the Ball brothers, but
Hey,
talking
LeVar is
pure
a marketing
talent.
junior. Genius.
Hey.
Genius.
Yeah, he gets more spotlight on his kids, so you gotta give him props, I guess.
Yeah, he managed to get both his sons in the top 3. Like, Lonzo was drafted number 2 and LaMelo number 3. Like, that is some genius stuff right there.
Yeah, he does act clown a little bit, but it might all be part of the show.
Yeah, he's just a good dad looking out for his kids.
So, what do you think about LaMelo Ball? Do you think, I heard there's some doubts about his shooting ability and just how he'll fit in the NBA. So, how do you think his freshman year is going to go?
I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. Honestly, the Hornets aren't necessarily the greatest team, but they have been rebuilding for a while now. And I think they do definitely have a young team to look out for. They have a lot of good talent on that team. So it'll be interesting to see how he fits in there. I think they've been needing a point guard. Because didn't they sign Terry Rozier? But I don't.
Yeah, Scary Terry, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's really cutting it. So it'll be interesting to see
how
how
he fits.
Oh, and
they got the Kansas, Devontae Graham.
Oh, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how all of those guys, patch together and form this little team of theirs, but I don't know. It's to be seen.
As for how much he'll win in his rookie season, I don't think they're going to win much games with the Hornets. But the one thing I'll say is that being drafted, obviously the teams that get high picks don't have good teams. So LaMelo will have a chance to get a lot of minutes. He'll have a chance to get a decent amount of shots. So I guess we'll see if that's good for him or bad for him. Sometimes the more minutes you play, it kind of shines light on your rough edges. But it'll be interesting to see how the third Ball brother does in the NBA.
For sure, like I've been saying, at least time will tell.
Yeah, I mean, just gotta wait and see.
And so, what about you? Like, what have been your favorite picks? Who have been your favorite? Like, who are your top 2 favorite picks, and who are your top 2 sleeper picks that slid down maybe a little more than you thought they did?
One of my sleeper picks was R.J. Hampton, who my Bucks drafted.
No. You got it all wrong, buddy.
They drafted him.
They drafted
but
him, but then
I
traded
know
him to
who
the
they
Pelicans,
sent him to.
And then they sent him to
the
Denver Nuggets.
The Nuggets.
The
Okay,
Denver
buddy.
Nuggets.
Okay.
The goon, the Denver Nuggets.
We get it. Yes.
I'd just like to say I was on the phone with one of my boys, my best friend. Shout out to him. And we was talking about, I was like, man, if he goes to the Bucks or the Raptors, because that's his favorite team. And I was like, man, because I know you like the Bucks, so that's your team. I was like, man, I'm going to be excited because, like, I get to still rep him because, I've been kind of watching him for a little bit overseas. So I was like, I'm going to still rep him. And all of a sudden, I look at my phone, I look at Woj, and he says, oh, that pick has been traded to the Denver Nuggets. I was like, no way. He's coming to my favorite team. I was so happy. Happy.
He's definitely one of those guys you got to look out for because before this last year when he went overseas, I think he played in the same league as LaMelo. Right? But he was the number 5 projected player for his class in the NBA, like for the draft.
Yep.
But then after a year overseas, you don't get as much exposure because you're playing in one of those leagues. You're not playing in college. So his draft stock kind of plummeted. But at the same time, I don't think like his skills plummeted at the same rate. So I think like
I think a lot of some rough edges that he has to improve on, but
I think a lot of GMs just kind of like overlooked him just because he took that chance to go overseas, which I don't know.
It didn't work out. He lost a lot of money.
Yeah, so he's one of my sleeper picks. I think he's definitely someone. If you're an NBA fan, you should look out for R.J. Hampton. I think he's gonna be a buzz around the league soon.
Hey, Nuggets stay finessing the league.
Hey,
imagine
bro,
Jamal Murray at the 1, RJ Hampton at the 2. Oh my God, bro! Don't even get me started. Oh my God.
Don't get too excited. The Bucks are gonna get Drew Holiday, so
Man, nobody cares, bro.
Bro, you
We
better
still
watch
gonna
out.
beat the Bucks, bro. Bucks ain't nothing
Hey,
to us
I
in
don't
the
know about
playoffs.
that, man. When you got Drew Holiday, Middleton, and Giannis, sheesh.
Nah, bro, they ain't nothing
We
to us.
we
ain't
could be
scared.
good.
Don't worry, Detective Grant is gonna stop him. Jeremy Grant? Oh no, it's raps.
Well, we'll see. Like you said, time will tell. My Bucks are gonna show you what they're about.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if that talk real. We'll see.
All right. As for another sleeper draft, number 15, Cole Anthony. I really like him. You know what I'm saying? But last year he had that knee injury at North Carolina, so he didn't really get to have his full season. So I think that's part of the reason his draft stock slipped down, was because GMs were unsure about his health and his status coming into the season. So I think the Magic got a real steal, and I think he's a tough point guard.
Oh yeah, he's a good player, and I agree with you. He fell down in the draft a little more than I thought. I thought he was gonna get picked, top 10, or maybe even lottery, but he got picked a little bit, well, just after the lottery. So I don't know. I think he's definitely gonna he has an itch, and he wants to prove everyone wrong. That like, no, you guys should have taken me.
Yeah, so he'll definitely have that chip on his shoulder. But yeah, those are some of my sleeper picks. As for the draft, we had 2 players from Michigan being drafted, 2 Michigan State players to be exact. Xavier Tillman coming in at 35 to the Kings, who was
And then I
eventually
think he got
traded to
traded,
the
yeah.
Grizzlies.
Yeah.
And then at number 53, the Thunder drafted Cassius, who was then traded to the Wizards. So definitely repping the state of Michigan and our college sports.
Making us look good, yeah. So shout outs to them. Hopefully they have a long,
A good
successful
career.
career.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they prove everyone wrong, and Michigan represent.
So yeah, overall it's an interesting draft. It wasn't the most stacked draft, but I think there was a lot of moves being made, and I think like those 2 people we said, RJ Hampton and Cole Anthony, definitely look out for in the future. If don't sleep on them, they're gonna be good. And yeah, I think that about does it for the draft.
Yeah, I mean, I'd just like to include, the Nuggets.
The Nuggets. Oh man.
We drafted Zeke. That's what they call him. He plays the piano. Talented dude.
Oh yeah. I saw that.
So, hopefully he starts playing a little bit of the piano at halftime. But, being for real, he seems like a good player. Humble dude. Humble beginnings. So, hopefully, he comes out next season, has a good season. I think he'll be able to play alongside Jokic. I just think that the signing, like the drafting him, was a way of saying that we might not re-sign Miles Plumlee.
Yeah.
In free
By
agency.
drafting the big dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows with the Nuggets? They do need another big dude to kind of back up Jokic, but yeah, that guy, the Zeke, the Zeke dude, maybe he'll be your guy's new backup center.
Yeah, or he could even fit in with a rotation with Jokic at the 4.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we'll have to see. But it was a fun draft. As a Pistons fan, there was a lot of it was like a roller coaster. I didn't know what was going on. It was like, trade. Everything was just like, it was all
wild.
over. So it was a wild night. But I think as a Pistons fan, we got a good future to look forward to. And the rest of the NBA, this new class, I think the league's in good hands.
Yeah, for sure. And make sure also to turn in to the start of free agency, which begins tonight. Actually, I think it begins right as our show airs at 6 p.m. So and make sure while you're watching us to follow all the trades that are going on, because it's gonna be one good free agency. Maybe not the best.
Could be some big moves.
Yeah, could be some big moves. Could be some really big moves.
Yeah. Do you want to hear something funny? Okay, so last thing, when I was watching the draft, do you know Precious Achiuwa from
Achiuwa or something? Yeah.
Yeah, from Memphis.
Yeah.
Do you know what his brother's name is?
No.
It's God's Gift. Achiuwa.
Really?
Yeah, like it's like God's and then like a what's it called? Apostrophe gift.
Oh, that's kind of creative.
So, hey, if you're listening at home, fun fact.
Yeah, fun fact by Jacob. I guess he's gonna start that on every NBA special.
I gotta do fun facts? Okay, I guess
Yeah, I got
you
you.
get your soccer, and I get my fun facts.
Yep.
All right, well, if you're still here and you were listening to that long NBA draft special, thanks for sticking with us. Hopefully we helped
you
you
busy.
learn. Yeah, hopefully we helped you stay in touch with the NBA, keep up with the latest on the draft. So
And everything that's going on in all other sports. Don't forget.
Yep. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. This is 89.1 FM, the Exile Radio. My name's Jacob.
My name's Bakari, and thanks for watching.